Quantum anal, quantum anal, taking flight, yeah, you're doing it right. Quantum anal, quantum anal, taking a seat like you feel my meat.
Thank you, Marcus. So, welcome to the first episode of the Quantum Anal web series. Today I'm here with Marcus, who is a good friend of mine.
Hello.
We often joke and talk
Often.
about a lot of things,
Mhm.
but today I'd like to focus. First, I'm sorry. We've gotten really ahead of
Yeah, let's
ourselves.
calm down.
Calm down, everybody.
Yeah, everybody calm down.
Chill out. This podcast is brought to you by the dolphin. Dolphins have something about them.
They're really fucking smart.
They're smart. They have a hole that goes. They communicate quantumly.
They're delicious to eat.
And I've heard they have anal. Someone on the street told me. Someone came up to me and said to me, dolphins have anal sex. And that is what has inspired this entire day.
You know, I could be your, like, during these videos, I could be, like, your...
My sign language person? Like, everything. Come on, do it.
No, I was going to say that I could be your informational looker-upper.
No,
like, your
don't
source
ruin
checker.
everything.
Your
I
source
make up everything.
checker.
No!
So, that dolphin fact might have been, in fact, a Simone fact.
Maybe you should learn something now, being the first web thing.
Simone has Simone facts. They're called Simone facts.
I make up some things. I say them with confidence and people believe it.
Yes.
But I often, most often, will follow it up by saying, I don't know what I'm talking about. I made that up.
But that is a really interesting concept, is the idea of you know, speaking with authority, speaking with confidence, and people believing everything that you say.
Yes.
Or enough to make them feel good, you know? Like, I mean, it's something that I think that as adults, as we get into our work and begin to do things at a level where we feel good about it, we start to speak with confidence, and you realize that everybody's ridiculous. We're all ridiculous.
Protocol.
And we'll just listen to whatever the fuck people tell us.
Anything.
As long as they're speaking with confidence.
Yeah, if someone says something to you with authority,
you're like,
oh, yes,
right, yes, that makes sense.
And it's so fun to fuck around with that, isn't it?
I don't, yes. I feel like I would want to do it more, but I feel bad.
Well, it's not even feeling bad, because the thing is being in a leadership position. Both of us have been in managerial positions where we like have these people who are looking up to us, and they really want an answer, because in a leadership position, you're expected to lead. And if you go in there with like an uncertainty, all of a sudden, like, this bitch doesn't know what she's talking about. So you have to go in there and being like, yes, well, this is that. Yep.
But there's also a balance, because I think that good leadership also is being honest when you don't know something.
Of course.
And like saying, like, I don't know the answer to that. So.
But even saying that with confidence.
Right.
Like, even, you know, like that. It's
right.
Oh, yes.
Good.
Good.
Cheers. Yes. Confidence. Confidence.
Yes.
I say this with expertise.
Indeed. Certainly.
This wine is delicious, by the way. Hints of blackberry, cream pie, and marijuana.
It has a refreshing sensation of rubbing your tongue across wet cement.
Oh, I love that. Yes, that's good. That usually is the signs of a 2010.
And look how it runs away.
It does run away, doesn't it? It doesn't stay.
It's not even in the
because
anymore.
A wine that stays really is inferior. My understanding would be such of that, so much that it is and isn't
to the wine industry,
and so much good.
To good marketing.
Indeed, and branding and brands.
Look at these glasses.
They're good. Well, this one's better.
But of course, it makes a better sound when you go.
It does. Yours is weak.
I'm not sure what this says on it.
Don't.
This is a stolen wine glass.
Moving on. So,
in any case, let's say everything we say with confidence, and all these motherfuckers out there in the world, web-wide world, will believe us. So, we Chip chip. Let's talk a little bit about what are you texting? Let's talk about texting in public. Why don't
I know
we?
it's so fucking rude. I hate it.
So
Yet here I am.
when we go out to restaurants to eat, and or more so, when you see a couple out to eat, how do you feel when they're both texting?
Ooh, that's good. Okay, so if I see a couple at a restaurant and they're texting, they're both on their phones, texting, whatever, I feel like there's something drastically wrong with the relationship. And that could just be my stereotypical bullshit superiority, like, I know what's up type of bullshit. It could very well be that. But that doesn't change the fact that when you go out to a social setting and you're on your phone the whole time, like, what are you missing in the social atmosphere that you're in that makes you feel like you need to turn to that? Because you know what? Technology is just another outlet. I mean, it really is. Like, we're letting out right now, are we not?
We are.
We are. So that's how I feel.
I felt like that was a bit contradictory.
Why?
Well, because my feeling on this subject. You feel this confidence in me? It's crazy.
I don't know. It's a borderline.
Wait, no, but for real, let's
Yeah.
When I, it's like, okay, you see this couple and like they've been spending like weeks together. They do everything together. They like
Are you talking about me and Corey? I mean,
no,
Carafatus Klein.
Marcus.
Yeah.
Please calm down.
Sorry. I'm taking it personally. I apologize.
No, I'm not referring to you because
Okay.
I think that you have a very healthy relationship. I'm gonna turn closer to show you that I sincerely mean that.
Body language means a lot. We'll get to that.
Stay tuned.
Yes.
When I think about these couples, I get into their psyche when I'm looking at them, and inevitably, you spend a lot of time with somebody. There's going to be times when you want to change your focus from that person to a person that is not in your physical dimension, but they're in this technologically based reality. You can connect with them. See, I have this thing about technology that a lot of people disagree with. That I think technology is a good thing because you're able to connect with people all around the world,
Right.
And at any time of the day.
But
Anywhere
why do you
are.
need to do that when you're in the middle of a conversation with another person? Like physically, like you're physically in a bar and you're sitting at a table with someone and.
Well, because it's time like any other. People? I mean, it's okay for a couple to do it on a couch when they're at home watching TV because they're not putting on a show for anybody. When you're at a restaurant, you're like out for this event, and then all of a sudden you can't be disconnected from them because it appears to others as rude. When I feel like both parties can just acknowledge that like it's cool. Like we're still connecting most of the time, and then when we want to take some time apart, and given that it's like not rude. I mean, if you're having like a heated debate with somebody and someone just like checks their phone, yeah. I all I do is I just go, and I wait, and they go, what was that? And I was no, it's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
So So that's interesting to me because I'd like to know why do people go out in the first place then? Why do you have the couple sitting at home watching TV together, texting, talking to each other, whatever? And then why does that same couple decide one night to go out to a bar? Like what did those two sceneries do for them?
Well, I was thinking more of a restaurant, and
Okay, whatever, restaurant.
because
Sure.
they don't feel like cooking, or they, it's the same thing. They want to go out and like see people. They want to like
because
feel connected to their community.
right,
in some
because
way.
I don't think that it's so much that like you want to be on display or you want to be for show or whatever, but it's just the energy. It's like a different energy when you go out and you even if you're just with the same person, you and I could be sitting here right now, or we could be sitting in a bar doing this exact same thing, but the energy would be so different that the conversation could be completely different. We could be thinking differently and like having a whole different dialogue.
Right.
So, and I don't even know where I'm really going with this. I guess I'm just saying
Carry on.
that it is what it is. And so then, why not and why?
So this leads us to tongue in our butthole.
You want to go back to that, do you? Okay, good. what you want to go there.
No, I don't. I'm just, I put anal in the title.
Yeah, it's
Gotta
important.
throw in some tongue butthole in there, or
Yeah,
else
it
people are gonna be
happens. Tongue in the
disappointed.
butt happens sometimes,
Mhm.
depending
No,
on
but
things.
okay, but for real, what does it come down to? Why is that rude?
I like what you said. I like that. I like that it's like, what's the difference between being on the couch and being in the restaurant and connecting? I like that. So I don't really know my answer to that. I guess I would just say that being at home versus being in the restaurant, like I said before, is a different energy. You're there for a different purpose. Like you could sit at home, you could order pizza delivery
Mhm.
and do that same thing, but there's something about going out and having a place to, I don't know, maybe being in a public space makes you really see what's going on around you and like focus in on who you're with, like your group or whatever, whether you're at a date or you're at a group
Yeah.
with people. And so like it allows you to sort of focus in on that. Whereas if you're just at home, sitting at home, you're in your comfort zone and you're just kind of like, whatever, fuck it, I don't fucking care. Does that make any sense?
It does. It does. And so I guess my question to that is, would you see a difference between being on a one-on-one? It doesn't have to be a date, whatever it is, a one-on-one dinner meal time sharing versus a group
A
setting.
group, yes.
Because in a group setting, very often a person will,
Yeah.
under the
Yeah,
table,
be
which is
doing
very
something.
funny, like under the table,
Yeah.
and no one really cares. It's like
No.
because
Because
there's other
you
people
can,
to avert your attention
right,
to.
you can come in and out of a conversation in a group very easily.
Mhm.
But when there's only two people, you're just locked in together. And so if someone's zoning out, then someone's zoning out, and you're
Yeah.
no longer having a fluid conversation anymore.
You know what's really funny is when you see a couple in a very fluid conversation and you're walking on the street, and then all of a sudden, the guy's attention
Oh, yes.
and his girlfriend's still talking, but he's looking at you.
Oh, yes.
I
Oh,
don't even
yes.
know how to react to that ever. I'm like, and I mean,
I hate it.
do you? Why?
It makes me really angry. It makes me really mad.
Mad about what?
Because I don't want someone that's in a relationship. It just makes me so mad. Like it really makes me mad.
Because you can't get him.
No, not at all. What? No! You're just saying that. You're just trying to start shit. No, it makes me mad because it's like you're together with somebody and you're obviously checking me out. And she's right there and maybe she's ignorant enough not to notice, maybe she chooses not to notice, maybe she doesn't care, fine, whatever, but it just feels like a I don't want to say a power thing, but it just feels like a I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want, and almost like in no regard to me either, like that, no regard to the fact that like you're just obviously checking me out.
But isn't that what men do? Okay, think
What
about.
does that mean?
Well, no. I mean, as
Like,
a man, before he's in a relationship with another woman, is checking out women
that's
all the
just not
time.
just men, that's women too. Women do that too.
Even furthering my point, men and
Yeah.
women check each other out. That's what they do naturally on like the base
Yeah.
root, second chakra level, or whatever the fuck Jordan's got into my head level. And
Yes. Yes. And
okay,
so what's the difference when you're dating somebody? Like it's still that
it,
instinct is still
and
there.
most of the time, I would imagine, because men don't think very much, that they're not thinking. They're just doing it. They're just.
Right.
It's just
Right.
like,
It just
tits.
has, yeah. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
look at her. Like, ugh.
But like where is the threshold? Is there no threshold where like you're so like you're in love with somebody and like you don't see anybody else? Like maybe that's just like a fairy tale.
Yeah.
But that's what I want.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of the problems exist in relationships.
Oh, come on.
I believe that.
Really?
I do.
Why?
Because it goes back to this idea of restricting your partner. If you're in a compassionate, loving relationship, you want that person to be happy. You want them to feel free. You want them to feel comfortable being with you. You want them to be able to walk down the street and turn their head and not get judged or criticized or yelled at for turning their head in a direction that.
And checking somebody out.
Well,
Yeah.
you put it in those terms, but that has a negative connotation.
Well, what do you mean? So
well,
that
that's like saying
that's not fair because
let
what
me.
I'm hearing from that is you saying that you turn your head and you're being judged.
Well, you are. So if you know you're with somebody and they're your lover partner and they turn your head, who you checking out? You hear that all the time. Girls and guys do it all the time, right?
Mm.
It's just okay. It's like
That's different though. That feels that doesn't that there's a difference there. There's a difference between people, women or man, who are insecure in the fact that, like they think that every single person that they're looking at, they're checking out. And so they're just like, who are you looking at? Who are you looking at? And then there's a difference between like men who are actually physically like looking at women constantly and it being obvious to the person that they're looking at and maybe to their girlfriend also. Like just I'm just saying be like cool about it, you know? I'm not saying don't look at other people. I'm just saying don't objectify others in front of the person that you care about. That's all I'm saying. Like I don't want to. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying don't make it so like prevalent to me. That's what I'm saying. Like have a little bit of tact with it. That's all that I'm saying.
So the issue is not really that they're looking because when they're not with you, they're looking.
Yeah, because I mean,
all the
like
time.
we all look. Like we all look. You
Yeah.
know, like you see a good looking guy. I see a good looking guy. It's like, oh, that guy's good looking. But I'm not also thinking well, that's a whole other thing. But I'm not like looking at a guy and thinking, oh, he's good looking, I want to fuck him. Either. I'm not doing that.
Okay, so then is the issue that you that he's looking at another girl, or is it that he's not looking at you?
No, it's not that at all. I know that the guy that I'm with is looking at me. I know that he's interested
But
in
when he's
me.
not when he looks at another girl, he's not looking at you, or more, not even looking at you. But you're talking to him. You're telling him, "Oh my god, my boss at work was so mean today,
Oh,
and like my
don't
day was
do that.
no,
See, I don't think that's fair when you do
no.
that. I think that you're seriously stereotyping women, and you're putting us in a category.
Wait, no, I
Oh,
don't mean.
but when you say that, you're literally making an example that we're always complaining. That I'm complaining to my boyfriend, and he's not
Often.
listening. Well, whatever. Men complain too. That's
Another
not
example.
fair.
Another example. Oh my god, I had the best yoga class today. It was so cool. Like my teacher was like all awesome, and I like stretched really good, and like my like cat cow was like fucking banging. Like I had such a good time, and like I'm excited. Like what are we gonna do tonight? Like I love you, baby. Whatever the fuck it is, whatever you're doing with this guy, you're giving your heart to him. You're emotionally connecting with him, and all of a sudden he turns his head and he sees this girl who has her tits hanging out and her like she's fucking little sexy.
Yeah,
vixen.
I don't like that. That pisses me off. I don't like that.
But I'm trying to get to the root of where that comes from. Is it because you're putting yourself to him and he's straying away in like even just in a momentary
maybe.
thing, or is it really that like the act of looking at you think that is it like she's better than you, or that you're like you start comparing. I do that. I know that I do that. If I'm with somebody and I see it and the guy I'm with starts checking another girl, like I can automatically compare myself to her.
Well, I guess we would all do that. That's probably human nature to do that.
Well,
Like what's drawing the attention away from. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, you're a good-looking human being and you're with a guy and you look good. You like okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden his attention turns to another person. It's like, where do you stand in that comparison? I mean, this is fucking stupid. Like,
It
it's
is
fucking
stupid.
retarded that we even have these thoughts.
No, it is.
I don't think that guys at all think that way.
No, but this is very valuable to our male viewers out there because they go, what the fuck? It's like I can't control where my eyes are going. How like think about even just being in a grocery store. Like your like gluten-free pasta doesn't get mad at your brown rice because you're looking at the brown rice. Like
yeah, you're comparing inanimate objects to living, breathing beings.
Aren't females just vagina vessels
right?
anyway?
I know. Well, so there you go. I mean, when it comes down to it,
we're just a vessel to carry the vagina. We know.
All I'm saying is have a little fucking discretion. That's all I'm saying. Like when I'm walking down the street, if I see a good-looking guy and my man is talking to me, I don't like turn my head and like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, good looking dude, check, got it, great, moving on. And that's like, that's it.
And then on the
You
other
know?
end of that, when you're the girl walking on the street and you see a couple and he checks you out, you said that pisses you off too. What is
Yeah, it
what is that
bothers
about?
me. It bothers me. Well, it bothers me because I want him to be paying attention to his woman and not be paying attention to me. Is that so bad? Why is that bad?
I mean, you tell me.
I don't like that. I don't because I put myself in the place of the girlfriend.
What
I
do you
put
give a
myself
fuck
in
about that girl?
because it's not just about her and it's not just about me and it's not just about him. It's about all of us and like our culture and the way that we interact with one another. And I mean, I don't know, like there's I'm really getting into a subject that I probably shouldn't get into, but there's something to be said for cultural. I don't know how to say this. I haven't really touched this subject before in person with people. I don't really know if I want to go there. There's cultural. Okay, we have no cultural boundaries in this country. Not okay.
Say
Okay.
what?
Okay, that didn't come out right. We not compared to other places. We're fucking all over the map. Let's just put it that way. We're a new country. We're fucking babies. We haven't really figured our shit out yet in terms of like who we are as a country. And we take pride in that. We're very like, oh,
Diversity.
yes, we're just doing our own thing. We don't go by these old thousands of years traditions that whatever. So we're just fucking all over the map basically. But to me, there's something to be said for having traditions or rituals or like peoples who have been around for a really long time and they get it. Like they get the way that men work, they get the way that women work. And so they put systems in place that kind of help the flow of how men and women's relationships work. Like they help that flow happen without so many bumps in the road. And I'm not saying that cultures that put controls on women or put, like these ideas on the way that women should act, the way that men should act are correct. I'm just saying that, these are traditions that have tested time, and been around for a really long time, and they understand the way that we interact with one another, like men and women, how we interact.
Yeah.
So, in other cultures, maybe men avert their eyes to women, or women avert their eyes
Ever
to men.
seen an Italian man?
Yeah, they're awful.
Awful.
I'm not.
In your eyes.
I'm.
Me, I love
my,
them.
Oh my god, they're fucking.
They like
wolves.
tongue fuck my butthole with their
Yeah,
eyes.
they're ridiculous. I can't stand it. It's awful.
That's great.
I hate. See, isn't that funny? It's so funny because we're so much alike, but we're absolutely different when it comes to sex completely.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, I feel like we were the same. It would get boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyways, I don't really know where I'm going with this. I'm just saying that I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Well, okay, so
I feel like you're
you.
making me feel
You shouldn't. I'm with you.
like I'm a prude,
No,
which you know I am not.
You're not a prude. But what I'm trying. Okay, so the way that I've interpreted your communication and body language is that you say okay. So you said that as like as a new country with all these different inputs. We have all these inputs. We have all these different cultures coming in here, and we're kind of still figuring out our shit. That we need to learn how men and women interact and put some rules in place to make those things a little bit more fluid, so that it's not But it's cultural rules, But then we also started this conversation by saying we know that men and women naturally look at one another.
Yeah.
So
and there's nothing wrong with that.
And there's nothing wrong with that. So why not make the cultural rule that men and women can look at each other without consequence, rather than putting the rule men and women shouldn't look at each other, even though we like to look at each other on a natural scale anyway?
I mean,
Is it because of the feeling that naturally comes up? That can be part of it.
I really think that you're trying to I really think that you're trying to like push aside natural human emotions
Mm.
for the idea of like this like sexual like communication utopia between men and women that will never exist, like ever. Like like let's put those let's put all those social norms aside and let's just look at each other. Let's just have couples looking at other single couples, and everybody's looking at each other, and we're all like feeling each other up and like doing our own thing. And like if that's if that worked, that would have been happening a long time ago, and that would be the way that things are now. Like that doesn't, because you're taking out the element of natural human emotions. Jealousy exists, insecurities exist, they always will. We can't get rid of those. Like it's
Yeah.
inherent in us.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that per se.
Mhm.
Like it can be bad, but I don't think that I quite understand it, but I feel like it's there for a reason. Like those emotions exist for a reason. If they didn't, we would have we would have gotten rid of them a long time ago through evolution or through whatever. So I don't think that there's necessarily anything wrong with a couple going out and like being jealous or like being insecure. Like it's, I don't know, like we're not perfect. Like it's just a part of how we go, like how we live, you know? And I don't know, I can't articulate that.
Wait, that's pretty articulated. Good No, I I hear where you're coming from, and that's why I say to you, where does that come from? That's kind of
Right.
like what I'm trying to get to the bottom of is like, is it like
I mean, it's all
what is the
biological. It all has to do with sex. It all has to do with reproduction when it comes down to it, I'm sure.
yeah,
Like we're all animals and we're all trying to like reproduce and like have our babies and survive.
right.
Like have our tribe survive or whatever.
No, yeah, that's kind of been a common thought these days. I don't know why it's doing this. What did you just press?
Okay.
I don't know. It's still recording. I can't believe it. Um, the wait, so, what was I saying? um, yeah, there's a common thought these days that um, that biologically we fight with each other in like these sexual social ways because it's something for survival. But there's also this other group of people that are now starting to realize that some of those that by because we're in this period now of like the spiritual awakening a lot of people are feeling,
Yeah.
and this kind of enlightenment where our minds are so capable of processing data in like a very rational fashion that our emotions can be like processed in a different way. We are able, because we have so much control over our minds and which our mind, I believe mind body is the same thing. We have so much control over it with our minds nowadays that we're able to process our emotions in a different way, and that we're almost able to like override, if you want to use the technological term, override the system and and take that jealousy and very quickly process it into a happier place, into a like, and they call, what was the word we use, a percursion or something, where it's like being actually happy for this other person. So when your boyfriend looks at another girl, you're like, I'm so happy that they're getting joy from enjoying that beautiful figure of a woman. And and so maybe evolutionary, it started in this biological primal way, and it's evolved into this weird thing, and as a new country we have this opportunity to create this social norm now where we're able to really use our brain function in this really productive way to be able to make the pain of jealousy less painful. Does that make sense at all?
It makes sense. It makes sense. And I'm not I'm not I don't want to disagree to disagree. But
But why not?
let's just
Tis
go there.
discussion.
I just, I don't know. This is like thousands and thousands of years of us doing things a certain way, and I'm not.
Well, that's like
I
saying there's
just
been thousands of years of us communicating with words, and then we started writing shit down, and we started using,
yeah, yeah, I
there's
get
lots
that.
of things have been going on for
But
thousands of years.
I don't. What's the goal?
The
That's what
goal,
I would love to know.
the goal is to be happy and not have conflict. We
And
talk
you
about
don't
this,
think that people are. Conflict is inevitable.
not necessarily.
Yes, why not? What is so wrong with conflict? Conflict
It's
creates.
stress.
No, I mean, that's like saying, like, let's be happy and pleasurable all the time. You can't have that without pain. You can't have that without conflict. Conflict is inherent in nature, it's inherent in everything that we are and what we do. It's just a part of us. Like, conflict creates it creates questions, it creates answers, it creates progress. Like, that's what conflict does. Like, to think of a world without conflict to me sounds incredibly boring and stagnant.
Well, but maybe that it would be. I hear you. No, I'm because okay, but maybe the conflict would be we'd be able to avert our conflict to more progressive things than like that primal bullshit.
Why is being primal bullshit? Like, that's who
Because
we're fucking animals. Like,
we're more intelligent than them now. We've gotten to a place where like we can look at this conversation we're having. We're able to have a dialogue about this. Where back in the day when we're like, huh, hata, hata, hata.
when we were Japanese.
When we were Japanese porn stars, we could just hata each other all
Yeah,
day long.
but I find it I think that it'd be really sad to lose that part of us. Like,